All right, this is huge. According to the latest Fox poll in the Commonwealth of Virginia, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, this is the second poll in a row, tied at 48%. Remember, this is a place Joe Biden won by 10 points in 2020. The same poll shows Trump winning 25% of black voters in the Commonwealth of Virginia right now. Can Republicans consider Virginia in play come November? Joining us with more, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin. Governor, listen, your victory really shocked the world in many ways, because a lot of people like myself included thought that Virginia had gone solidly blue, that Northern Virginia had too many D.C. employees that were going to vote for the bureaucracy, and it became that much more difficult of a state to win. Is this state in play for Donald Trump?
Sean, I believe it is, and that's exactly what the polls are showing us, just like Georgia and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, Michigan, Nevada, and Arizona. Those battleground states are seeing the exact same kind of statement that Virginians are making. They want a strong America. They want an America that has economic strength, not the Biden-generated economy that's unleashed inflation. They want an America that has national security strength, not the indecisive, weak America that Joe Biden has created. They want an America that has a secure border, not one that has terrorists and illegal immigrants and fentanyl flowing over it every day. I mean, we see it in Virginia. We literally have 5 Virginians dying on average from fentanyl overdose, and we had 2 illegal immigrants crash the gates at Quantico in a box truck recently. And they want an America that has energy independence. We're so tired, I can hear it every single day, of being told that you have to buy an EV if you live in California, but not in Virginia anymore because we declared our independence, or that, in fact, you have to pay 20, 30, 40% more for a gallon of gas because of the Biden failed energy policy. They want Trump back in the White House because he built a strong America, and that's exactly what we've seen in Virginia over the course of the last couple years. Common sense conservative policy works. We've unleashed a rip-roaring economy in Virginia, and I think they want to see it on a national level. Yes, Virginia is in play. We got 5 months of hard work, but I'm telling you, when they put the records of President Trump against President Biden, I believe that Virginians and Americans are going to find themselves pulling the lever for President Trump.
So when I was with President Trump last week and I did an interview with him, your name came up. And he asked me if I spoke to you often. I said, well, occasionally, you know, we have spoken, and you come on the show. And he said, when you talk to him, tell him I'm going to give him a call. I want his thoughts on Virginia. So I would say expect a call from President Trump. I don't know. I'm just a mere messenger, right? You know, what about Northern Virginia? Because that always scares me, because there are so many D.C. bureaucrats that live in the Commonwealth of Virginia, that work in D.C., and how big a percentage of the vote is that going to end up being for the Commonwealth?
Well, in order to win Virginia, like we did in 2021, you have to lose Northern Virginia less badly. And what we did, of course, was we won the Hispanic vote, we won the Asian vote, we won the independent vote. People are ready for change. And in 2021, they were ready to see parents put back at the head of the table, back in control of their children's lives. They were tired of government taking all of their hard-earned money and putting it in government coffers versus leaving it in their pocket. They wanted a chance to build their lives the way they wanted to build them, and not being told what to do all the time, mandated masks, and, oh, by the way, mandate what kind of car you drive. This is Virginia, and of course, I think this is America. And therefore, the plan to win Virginia is, of course, to lose Northern Virginia less bad, but to get over 40% of the vote and then knock it out in the rest of the state. And that's exactly what we did in 2021. And when you look at President Trump's strength across Virginia, that's exactly what he can do.
Let me ask you a final question. If Donald Trump, and I know your name hasn't been out there prominently, but if Donald Trump called you and asked you to run with him, what would you say, Governor?
Well, first, I would be honored and humbled and tell him that there is a ton of talent in the Republican Party today, and I've seen them everywhere, and it's my job to finish my time as governor and help him win Virginia. But I tell you what, we got to make sure we get Donald Trump back in the White House, because America can't withstand another 4 years of Joe Biden.
Is that a hard no?
Sean, that is a realistic view of the fact that there is so much talent that I think he can have a great choice and find lots of people. I would be honored. But
I understand. All right, Governor. Always great to have you on the program. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.